The United States Navy controls the world's oceans with 11 aircraft carrier strike groups. It maintains military superiority in every conventional domain. Washington spends more on defense than the next 10 countries combined. American technology training and firepower remain unmatched across air, sea, land, space, and cyber domains. Yet a 21-mile-wide waterway in the Persian Gulf has become a strategic problem the world's most powerful military cannot solve. The Strait of Hormuz carries approximately 20% of the world's oil every single day. Trillions of dollars in global trade flow through this narrow channel between Iran and Oman, and Iran has repeatedly demonstrated it can threaten that flow whenever it chooses. Despite decades of planning billions in military investments and a permanent naval presence in the region, the United States has no good answer. This isn't about military capability. America could win any conventional engagement in the Gulf within days. Iranian naval forces would be destroyed. Coastal installations would be eliminated. Command structures would collapse. But that's precisely the problem. Iran has tuned Hormuz into a strategic weapon that exposes a critical blind spot in how Washington thinks about power deterrence and global commitments. They've engineered a situation where American military superiority cannot be effectively applied without triggering the exact crisis it's meant to prevent. The question isn't whether America can fight in the Strait of Hormuz. The question is whether America can afford to. To understand why Hormuz has become Washington's biggest blind spot, we need to look beyond the headlines about tanker seizures and missile boats. The real story is about how Iran engineered a trap that America's entire strategic planning system cannot see, and why that matters far beyond the Middle East. But first, we need to understand what actually happened and why it should concern everyone watching global affairs. Over the past 5 years, Iran has systematically demonstrated control over activities in and around the Strait of Hormuz through a series of calculated actions that follow a distinct pattern. In 2019, Iranian forces seized the British-flagged tanker Stena Impero in retaliation for the detention of an Iranian vessel near Gibraltar. The operation was executed in broad daylight, with Iranian commandos fast roping from helicopters onto the deck while Revolutionary Guard speedboats circled below. The message was unmistakable. Iran operates with impunity in these waters. That same year, several tankers were sabotaged through limpet mine attacks in the Gulf of Oman, just outside the strait. The operations were sophisticated enough to cause significant damage, but calibrated to avoid casualties that might trigger immediate military response. Attribution was deliberately ambiguous, though the tactical signatures pointed clearly to Iranian involvement US. Naval vessels have faced repeated harassment from swarms of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Navy fast attack, craft small, highly maneuverable boats that approach at high speed and coordinated patterns. These encounters stop just short of direct confrontation, testing American rules of engagement while demonstrating Iran's ability to operate aggressively in contested waters. Iran has deployed increasingly sophisticated anti-ship cruise missiles along its southern coastline, creating overlapping fields of fire across the strait's shipping lanes. Naval exercises periodically disrupt commercial traffic, serving as demonstrations of capability paired with public statements, emphasizing Tehran's willingness to close Hormuz entirely if its own oil exports are blocked by sanctions. The American response has followed its own pattern. Washington established Operation Sentinel, a coalition maritime security initiative designed to escort commercial vessels and increase surveillance. Naval presence expanded. Diplomatic pressure intensified. Sanctions tightened. Yet the fundamental dynamic remains unchanged. Iran continues to demonstrate that it can impose costs and risks on Gulf shipping whenever it chooses, while the United States cannot guarantee prevention without triggering a broader war that closes the strait anyway. Recent developments show Iran expanding these capabilities further. More advanced anti-ship missiles with improved guidance systems have been integrated into coastal defenses. Coordination with proxy forces in Yemen and Iraq has tightened, extending Iran's operational reach beyond its own territory. Targeting systems have become more sophisticated, increasing accuracy against moving vessels. These incidents look like isolated provocations, but they're actually pieces of a larger strategic system that Iran has spent decades building on that exploits specific weaknesses in how America projects power. To understand how Iran built this system, we need to go back to the strategic decisions made in Tehran after the 1979 revolution, when Iran faced an existential threat and chose an unconventional path.